What's up, my friends? Welcome to these divination sessions. We are going to dive into what it is that you are currently calling in. So this will have to do in regards to the timeline you are on, timeline probabilities, okay? Because nothing is ever set in stone, but there are certain probabilities that we can find ourselves moving towards just based off of momentum, right? So we're gonna dive into that today. We have five piles to choose from, my friends. You can pause the video if you need to do so, but whenever you're feeling ready, we're gonna hop right into these readings. What's up, pal number one? Here is your reading for what it is that you are currently calling in. So I tried starting your guys' reading, and then the recycling people started coming through and making a hell of a lot of noise in my neighborhood. So yeah, I didn't get too far into the reading, but these are your two oracle cards. You have Unfinished Symphony and the Sun card coming through for what it is that you're currently calling in. So my pal number ones, I'm hearing ultimately that, I feel like that you have been a long time coming into growing into your confidence and growing into who it is that you feel like you have came here to be. I feel like maybe for some period of time you felt like an unfinished symphony. You felt like you had all of this greatness inside of you and all of these things to share, wisdom, gifts, etc., things that you wanted to do, but maybe you just weren't at a level of confidence, or maybe, it's like we can go through these initial awakenings and we still have certain karmic tendencies and propensities that need to kind of run themselves off. So I'm hearing that what you guys are calling in is like you guys are latching into your timeline, your highest timeline, your dharmic path. So you guys are taking what, those things that held you down and those things that those insecurities and those past versions of yourself that you were not the most proud of and that you were maybe ashamed of. You're taking those with you. And I feel like the karmic scales have tipped in terms of those aren't holding you down anymore, right? And so now you're really moving forward. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have those, that karmic runoff still there, and you're not going to experience moments where you feel those insecurity moments where those things start to resurface. But ultimately, my pal number one, I'm hearing that you guys are locked into a pretty solid timeline. And, with the Sun card, it says enjoy success and happiness. So I feel like what you're calling in is greater amounts of success, greater amounts of happiness, greater amounts of reflection of the internal state of being that you've unearthed within yourself. So my guides like to call it law of revelation versus law of attraction. For me, it just seems a lot more surrendered and a lot less egocentric. Not saying everyone that, calls it law of attraction and uses those principles as egocentric necessarily. However, for me, it's been essential to understand what the spiritual journey and my most humble of a perspectives is all about. It's about becoming free, and it's about an internal sense of freedom and opening it and kind of unearthing yourself to a degree to where, your soul's blueprint can just shine and you're just really aligning with what feels authentic to you. And because of that, it's like what is meant for you is going to be revealed to you. So it's not like I'm, visualizing it and I'm attracting it. But it's just like, no, you're just stepping more into the truth of who you are. You're aligning more with your true nature. And because of that, those external ramifications have no choice but to appear. And so I feel like that's just the timeline that you guys are on. It's been a long time coming in terms of yourself. And I feel like, again, you guys are just feeling very confident and very just like, and whatever you are and whatever quirks and character flaws, and you just feel very comfortable. And that's true confidence. It's not saying that we don't have insecurities. But my pal number ones, I feel like you guys have really integrated that. It's like you just you understand that by pushing away your humanity does not make you more divine. And I feel like I'm just getting this sense of like total self-acceptance, or like 95% of the time self-acceptance, right? Doesn't mean we don't have those little things that resurface, but ultimately you guys are sitting high, you guys are sitting mighty, you guys are sitting proud. So let's see what the tarot has to say. I've not looked at your cards yet. We have the Six of Pentacles. So yeah, I feel like this honestly to me is like an exchange of like you putting yourself out there, you being on your dharmic path and being rewarded materially, or you at the very least seeing your impact and being validated. And not that, again, my pile number ones don't need this external validation, but it's going to come, right? That's the timeline you're on, that external confirmation, that external validation, you're going to get it of like, you're putting so much light out there, and whatever it is that you guys are doing, you are going to receive, mirroring of how much of an impact you're making for other people. And so that's kind of like, that's what feeds us on our dharmic path. Like, we're purified, we're showed the parts of ourselves that where we still don't feel worthy for our, you know, greatness and for your inevitable success, pile number one. We're shown that, and then, but we don't give up. We continue to go. This is a pile that's continued to go despite any obstacles internally or externally that you've met. And because of it, it's like Spirit is like, okay, you've done that clearing, and so now is the time to really reap the rewards of all of that internal purification that you've undergone. You have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, it's coming in quick. You guys probably already feel that you're on this timeline. You probably already feel that it's coming in quick. You're probably already feeling and seeing externally, like numbers going up or more clients coming in, getting more calls or more opportunities to connect with like-minded souls. Maybe more people are reaching out to you and being like, hey, I really resonate with you and your message, what you're putting out there. Whatever it is that what you're doing, I feel like whatever you feel, whatever confirms to you is like, this is a representation and a symbol of like me feeling like that external reflection of this internal bounty that I'm feeling. That's what you're going to get, my pile number one. You also have the Knight of Cups coming through. So I feel like whatever you're doing, again, it's like an offering. I always see this card in particular as like an offering of yourself. Like this is such a beautiful energy. I mean, enjoying success and happiness, but like this is a true level of success and happiness is one that is not so invested in how it looks externally or so invested in like numbers or money, etc. Like this tells me that the realms of your perception are on point and the realms of your heart. Like this is something, whatever you're doing is an offering of the heart. And that's true karma yoga. That is true. That's what our dharmic path does. Like it opens our heart, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're just having more heartfelt connections reach out to you, or just experiencing more of that humanitarianism, or that more of like meeting people from the level of the heart, because of whatever you guys are doing is coming from the heart. It's born of the heart. And it's almost like the Son of Cups too reminds me of the card of like, dreams coming true, right? Like, or like the fairy tale fantasy, the happily ever after that we think sometimes is too good to be true. It's like, you're too good to be true is true, and it's coming in. And I feel like maybe you guys are you're probably going to be in this state of just like awe of like, oh my God, it's like actually possible. I'm so happy that I didn't give up on my dreams. You also have the Queen of Cups. So because we have the Knight moving into the Queen, I'm seeing this as an up-leveling holistically. So as you start to, this timeline that you are on, my pile number ones, as you start to, it's like this is going to up-level you. So if there's any amount of fear in you that's like, can I keep up with this? Spirit is coming through and being like, we're going to squash that shit really quick and be like, yes, you will most certainly, like not only are you going to keep up with this, but you are going to evolve. Like you are going to grow into the shoes, right? It's like you're growing into the shoes. Like I feel like whatever you're doing, you guys, is really big. Like you guys have really big destinies. You're here to leave a very big impact on the world. And I feel like if there's any amount of fear of like, can I keep up with this? Or like, how am I going to continue to have the ideas? Or how am I going to A, B, C, and D? Like this is your indication that you will be given like seeking first the kingdom and all else shall be added unto you, right? You will continue to just be this wellspring of just the more that you give, the more that, you're going to receive more from Spirit in order to give. And that's going to add to your dharma. It's going to add to whatever it is that you're, so beautifully blessing the world with. But I see more like financial abundance coming in for you guys, more success and happiness in terms of relationships. There's a lot here about self-love and relationships and meeting people at the level of the heart. And there's a lot of like, you will continue to glow up. Like you're really on the timeline of like glowing up in so many ways, but more so than physically. I feel like this is an energetic glow up, and this is like coming in really fast. It's coming in hot, my pile number one. So you guys can probably already feel it, but many blessings on your journey. Whatever it is you're doing, keep it up. This is beautiful. Congratulations on everything. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. Please like this video if it resonated. Comment down below any synchronicities. Subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What is up, group number 2? Welcome to your reading for what it is that you are currently calling into your timeline. I have your oracle cards flipped over. We're going to do tarot together real time. So what I'm seeing for you guys with the Fates and the Hunter card tracking down your fears and desires is I'm seeing that what you guys are calling in are more experiences to holistically set you free, right? With fears and desires, when I see fears and desires, I see things that essentially keep us trapped, right? So, some of you guys have mentioned this, what I have up here. And so I'm going to read this to you because I feel guided to do it. It says, "You will do that when you've gone inside to see where you are beyond the things in you which attract you and seduce you and excite you and repel you." So fears and desires, right? "The journey across the great ocean of existence is a journey inward, ever and deeper and deeper. And the deeper you get in, the more you meet truth." So for me, this kind of signifies like fears and desires are what keep us trapped, right? It keeps us from this sense of like, if there's anything that we deeply want, and if there's anything that deeply repels us and that we try to avoid, like essentially we are tethered. Essentially we are not free. We are bound to whatever it is that we deeply desire because we so want it badly. We want it so badly. And, you know, and there can be a certain extent of us that invest our identity and our worthiness in terms of if we get it or not, right? And then on the other side of that, your biggest fear is just kind of revealed to you where you still have like unprocessed trauma, or where it's like seems to be confirming to you how unworthy you are, whatever it is, right? So, you know, there are two different ends of the spectrum, but it really does show us how caught we are in the wave of polarity, right? And so because we have the fates here, I'm just saying that, you know, I feel like if anything, your guides are really coming through, and we'll get deeper in with the tarot, but I feel like your guides are really coming through and just being like, hey, so there's going to be some fated experiences. So this could be both ends of it. You could have just like reflections of your deepest desires coming to you, and it's going to be different depending who's tuning in. But you're going to have reflections of your deepest desires reflected to you, and you're going to also have reflections of your greatest fears. But I feel like you'll start to notice the common theme and within both of those, the kind of trap within both of those. And it'll be an opportunity for you to see how much you tie your sense of identity, your sense of peace, your sense of fulfillment into these things externally, and how much with these desires. And for some of you, it's going to be relationships for sure. I can already feel that. But with these desires, it's like, notice how you get swept up in the timeline. Like when someone starts to reflect certain codes that you really like, or maybe they have like your Venus and Mars, you guys are compatible in that or something. Notice how instead of just enjoying it for what it is, like the mind just wants to just like perpetuate that feeling, right? We enjoy these feelings. We crave these good feelings so much that when something in our external reality is fulfilling that craving, fulfilling that like good feeling, it's like, how do I prolong this? How do I keep this? Right? And that keeps us tethered. We're not free. And you're not in a state of peace when you are so caught up in the future and kind of essentially worried about how you're going to prolong this sensation. And the same thing with fears. Most of the time, it's so interesting that to notice that our deepest fears, all these stories that we make up in our minds, like they don't hardly ever come true, right? And this could even be like old things, like in terms of fate, I think of the Wheel of Fortune. So old fears, old traumas resurfacing, and how like when we make a mistake, for example, or we sin. So we make a crime against our better wisdom is what it's called in Ayurveda. So you go against yourself, you make a decision that you know is not, you know, in your highest wisdom. Like animals, for example, they just pay for a mistake one time. How many times do humans pay for something? Because we have this prefrontal cortex that allows us to remember things, right? We pay for something over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm hearing holistically that there's a lot of like karmic type of energy that you guys are calling in, and it's not a bad thing, right? Your guides are really coming through and being like, with all the star energy, it's like, this is here to heal you, right? This is here to restore your power back unto yourself. Doesn't matter if it's something you like, doesn't matter if it's something that you don't like. What if it's in the world of form and you're worried about changing it and trying to control it in order to control your internal disposition, you are bound. You are not free. And so spirit in this incarnation really wants you guys to experience true levels of fulfillment, true levels of freedom and peace. So let's see what else the tarot has to say. We have the Empress. So yeah, I feel like this is like a birthing of, when I see the Empress in correlation with the fates, I really do, oh my god, they almost like look the same too. So something that just like feels really good is what I'm getting from this. Something that almost like takes you back to childhood memories. Something that just makes you feel nurtured. It makes you feel like very desired. So again, for some of you guys, I really do feel like this could have to do with relationships on both ends of the spectrum. Even realize when you start to get a relationship that you think you like, it's going to trigger all of those deepest fears and insecurities, right? It's like you can't have one, deeply desire one and not also get the other in some way, shape, or form, right? We also have the Knight of Cups. Yep, this totally confirms the fact that yeah, for a majority of you guys, it's definitely calling in something about relationships or something about just levels of worthiness, the types of partners you call in, what you feel like the type of person that you deserve. Healing of abandonment wounds, healing of, again, traumatic past childhood experiences, things that happen in the womb for some of you. So some of you, I'm also seeing this as like things that were out of your control and happened when you were under the care and supervision of beings when you were just like in your pure innocent state. Right. And so this is really about not running from these uncomfortable situations and just being as present as you can, not getting swept up in it, like really as much as you can. I know it's easier said than done. Trust me, when you're in it, like I can give the best advice in terms of this relational shit. And then when that type of thing is sparked in my external reality, it is like, you really do see, how much you have untethered yourself from these past timelines and these past wounds, right? And so it's not a bad thing. Don't make anything that in your experience mean anything bad, but for the most part, just like see it, everything that enters your experience, spirit, especially this thing, I feel like it's going to feel really good. And it's also going to trigger deeper wounds for you too. And it's going to be something that I feel like really keeps you on your toes. Like it's going to be up, it's going to be down, it's going to feel very wishy-washy, but ultimately there's something about it that keeps you coming back, right? This like attraction, this love, there's something like, for the most part, if someone was making us feel really shitty and triggering our deepest insecurities, most of us would be like, fuck you, I'm walking away, I'm not staying in this. But when it comes to romance, I feel like it's a sneaky way of spirit really like inviting us in this space of putting our nose to the grindstone, because when there's that sexual attraction and that romantic attraction, that's going to keep us coming back no matter how shitty someone makes us feel, right? And so then is our opportunity to do the deep healing and the deep work that, these certain romantic connections hold keys that most people don't. At least in my experience, the farther you go along your journey, it's very rare that someone meets those marks to where you're like, okay, like there's a lot of filters to get to that point to where I'm wanting to open up myself and my heart to that level of depth. And so when it is, like, that's a very vulnerable place to be in. And so oftentimes spirit will draw in these romantic counterparts into our experience in order to, when there's a next level of healing that needs to happen, so we can embody more of ourselves, our power, and so we can further along our divinity. If you guys are interested in hearing more about this or learning more about this, I've made a ton of videos on my main channel about romantic counterparts, so you can check that out. So moving on. Next card, we have Strength in Reverse. So yeah, I feel like this is going to, there's a lot of surrender here that's necessary. There's a lot of not like bulldozing your way through feelings. I feel like for many of you guys, there's a lot of powerful cards coming up here. Just like people that are used to really being in their power, really being in control. So I'm hearing your guides be like, don't run away from this uncomfortable experience. Like this person is going to, I feel like, check all the boxes for you in all the ways. And, there's going to be something about it though that also deeply triggers you, and that kind of leaves you feeling very tender. And so spirit is like, don't go to coping mechanisms, right? Just try to stay with the feeling as much as you can and try to be like, okay, like I had this crazy epiphany the other day actually in terms of going through exactly what I'm seeing here, where I made a link to the past people I've been drawn to, and how that because I suffered this like abandonment wound from my mother, of how then, because there was like a lot of chaos and turmoil in my upbringing and like uncertainty, that I also I was attracted to partners that, I could have like 5 people that are like want to give me the world and very great. But then if there's that 1 or 2 people that offer a little bit of instability, it's like the ego wants to go towards that instability to try to change the narrative from childhood, but it's going about it in not the right way, right? And so there's something about this person, it might be an abandonment wound for me, but for you, it's linked to something else that I feel like does go back to childhood for you guys, and that spirit is wanting you to see. You guys could already be in this, right? Or like if you have a new romantic spark, if that spark's already there, if it's just been sparked, I'm feeling like this is something new for you guys. It's whatever person is coming up, but if not, you're calling them in, right? So again, spirit doesn't want you to try to bulldoze your way through it, and just really sit with the energy. Because sometimes when we have those epiphanies of like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. Like, we're trying to, in a weird way, confirm our worthiness through like these very distorted ways. It's then like once you can see it and identify it, it's like, there's so much freedom that comes with that. So again, surrender is really important here. And 6 of Pentacles. So I do see a rebalancing happening for you guys. I do see you being successful with this, and maybe for a lot of you guys, you tend to have this where like things will they'll start really great, and then it'll feel like back to the drawing board really soon, or like these, you know, uncomfortable things come up. Maybe we also can sometimes have a distorted idea of what like relationships are supposed to look like and what they're supposed to do for us. You know, they're here to help us, you know, essentially if you're on the spiritual path. You know, it's not 3D rules don't apply to 5D relationships and spiritual connections. It's like here for freedom. We're here to set each other free, right? And so that doesn't always feel good. But ultimately, it's like remaining in this space of, when I see the Six of Pentacles, I actually see two similar cards, but from opposite decks from the first pile. It's really funny. But it's all about maintaining balance within yourself as much as you can and not being hard on yourself. With the Strength in reverse, it's like really being tender. Like I see a lot of tenderizing coming here. So you might even feel very tender of the heart throughout these experiences, but, you know, don't make it about the other person as much as you can. You know, their karma is their karma, you know, and your karma, how you respond to them is what I mean, is your karma, right? How you respond to them is your journey. And you know, from this level, we can think that it's supposed to go a certain way and a certain reason, but it's like higher self has, we're not always on the same page with that, right? But yeah, good luck with everything. I do see you guys getting through this. I can feel that you're going to get through this, but you know, just keep in mind, there might be some tenderizing of your heart, and it's all good. Just surrender. Make those connections that you need to help set you free and to kind of like close those old chapters that I feel like have remained open in your field, right? There's a huge opportunity of healing a large amount of karma and woundings from the past through whatever dynamic you're calling in and however long or short it lasts for. So many blessings. Please like this video if it resonated. Comment down below. Subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope to see you soon. What is up, my pal number 3? Here is your reading for what it is that you are currently calling into your reality. So I see that you are calling in external confirmation of how much growing you've done internally, whatever you feel is like success to you, because we all have different definitions of success. I definitely see that you guys are on the timeline of experiencing more of that. You know, this reminds me of the Empress card, and we also do have this yin energy too. So I'm hearing that holistically, you're calling in more of the divine feminine. You're calling in more of this receptive energy of things just come to me, right? Like very magnetic is what I'm getting from this group. Like this could mean that you're calling in people, you're calling in resources. People want to collaborate with you. People want to offer you gifts and services or whatever. I'm feeling like a very sensual, and just kind of go with the flow feel from these oracles. So we're going to get deeper in with your tarot. I haven't looked at your cards yet, but what else do we need to know, Spirit? Yeah, so again, what was I just saying? So 3 of Pentacles, you're definitely you're calling in more collaboration. So if you do have people that want to collaborate with you or offer it, obviously tune into yourself, but I just saw 111 on the clock. So obviously tune into yourself, my pal number 3s, but I would say that the collaborations that you're drawing in right now are, you know, they're from like-minded people. So if people do offer, 1, 2, 3, do offer to work with you or work together with you, I would go ahead and definitely lean into that, because I feel like you're networking right now. You're calling in a lot of connections that might not make sense now. Maybe you can feel like, okay, there's some type of business here, but I'm seeing you're calling in long-term like connections, like connections that are, you know, what true friendship is, which is about being on the journey together, is helping set each other free. And then also I'm seeing that these are people that, you know, you guys are going to be helping the next wave of ascension, the next waves of awakening as more and more people wake up on this planet. So these are great connections you're calling in. I would definitely keep your eyes peeled for these individuals and your heart open for sure. Next, we have Death and Rebirth. This kind of reminds me of what I was saying about the awakening. But ultimately, too, I feel like this could just be a reawakening of your feminine essence. I feel like this could also be saying that on the other side of like a rebirth experience, you could already be on the other side of it. Or this is saying that if you currently feel like you are in a dark night of the soul, that you are going through a huge shedding of layers. Like, we have to make space, right? So oftentimes we can be in a state of wanting new realities and wanting new relationships, wanting new friends, and then we get really uncomfortable with a period in between where we don't have any friends and things aren't going according to plan. And it does feel like kind of stagnant. You know, sometimes a surrender energy can feel very stagnant, if, you know, all depending on how we're framing it and how we're like what narrative we're attaching to this period. So you guys, Spirit is really coming through and saying too that if this is an energy you're in, or if like you tune into this reading, you're like, I'm actually experiencing the opposite. It feels really dry. It feels very desolate. Do not be fooled by appearances. You're making space, right? So again, so often we want these new realities. We want these new timelines, but then we also want to try to hold on to our old reality that's keeping us tethered to an old paradigm that we say we want to get out of, right? So you might be noticing too, what you're calling in is like an ending of certain dynamics, relationships, being more firm in what it is that you want, saying no when you really mean no, saying yes when you really say yes, or when you really mean yes, and essentially not being afraid of these old elements dying away. Yeah, with the yin energy, I also think of the womb. The womb is like a place of darkness, so like cocooning. So you might be calling in a period of where you're going to enjoy a lot of growth, right? But where does the caterpillar grow? It grows in darkness, right? But then you enjoy those rewards very quickly. And that sense of rebirth, man, is like, it's like what you feel after a good cry. There's no words. There's a certain tenderizing that happens to your heart. You're actually much more open to people. You're meeting people at a level of authenticity and a level of depth that kind of surprises you too. But ultimately, it's like I am feeling this sense of like rebirth, most certainly. And on the other side of it is most definitely going to be like a reality that is much more authentic. And it's like you're going to be like, thank God. Thank God I went through that. It was kind of shitty. It was kind of heavy in the moment, but you're going to feel so light, and you're going to, it's like that's a part of purification, right? You're purifying out the old behaviors, the beliefs, not just on a mental level, but it's like truly a physical, like cellular level, right? From this karma that we carry over. So what else do we have? Ace of Wands. So yeah, a lot of new inspiration that you're calling in. So some of you guys might be in this period of just like kind of like feeling like you're just waiting around or waiting for like, you know, these new experiences to come, or you might feel like you're in limbo, right? But I'm hearing very soon you're calling in this experience, like you're going to be calling in, or you're on the timeline to finding more of your inspiration. Sometimes too, I feel like Spirit does this. Like we get in these ebbs or these, you know, plateaus. And so by the time these new doors and these new opportunities open, it's like, we're so fucking bored that we're like, give me anything. Like I will take it. Or Spirit gets us in this space of, okay, I'm in this realm, right? I'm ready for something new. And so you're asking for that something new. So when the something new comes, you're much more likely to actually take it, right? So for example, when I was a new mother, I didn't have any friends, and I had like for 2 years, I didn't have any friends, and I was great with it, right? But I had a sticky note on my fridge that said, I now welcome in heartfelt and warming connections. And then, you know, long story short, I ended up taking like a fitness class with Maya's aunt and my daughter, her aunt. And the second class at this fitness place I took was with the owner. And she essentially like offered me a job and wanted me to be an instructor. And that catalyzed me. I was so ready for something new. And it was so exciting, but it also like required a death of my old self, and it required a hell of a lot of growth too. So that might be something that you guys are actually calling in. And I met new clients, I met a community, I created that community. But it really was like I was in this space of like really appreciating the feminine energy, allowing those timelines and those stars to kind of align, you know, because that's mystic time. It doesn't work on your own time. The universe works on its own time frame. We know that, right? And so like it had like all of those elements and components had to be aligned, right? And I couldn't have made it happen any better. And I didn't even know it was something that I ever wanted to do or something I ever needed in order to be this person that I can now say I'm very confident in who I am, what I have to offer, right? And so you might be calling in that type of experience, right? So Spirit's just preparing you for that right now. Yeah, 3 of Wands, so new adventures. I most certainly feel like with all this fire energy, there's a lot of transformation you're calling in. It's going to be this beautiful, this delicate balance of the feminine and the masculine merging. I feel like you are calling in experiences and opportunities that are going to allow you to step more into your power. And again, that is not always going to feel comfortable, but you know, again, Spirit continues to have me reiterate what you're going to feel after. You know, there's no type, you can't really quite sum up. You can't really put into words how it feels, how you feel on the other side of a challenge that you decided to meet face on, when you decide to meet yourself and your biggest insecurities, which are most of the time tied to our dharma, right? Our greatest fears are most of the time tied to what's going to set us free. And it's by facing those fears head on that we set free. And it's by going into the darkness, leaning into the darkness to see it for what the fuck it is. It's a mirage. It's a shadow. It's not true. So keep your eyes peeled. Yeah, there's an opportunity here coming in for you guys to take that. It's going to take you out of this kind of like flowy, maybe just more receptive energy. And it's from it is going to be birth like new inspiration, a new creative endeavor, new collaborations, new community for sure. Like I can't wait to see like how this applies to all of you guys uniquely, but it is definitely going to take you to new horizons within yourself and externally too. I feel like your reality is about to change very quickly. So if you've been wanting that change, like, ask and ye shall receive. You're about to receive it. So keep your eyes peeled. Many blessings on your journey, my friends. Please like this video if it resonated. Comment anything down below, any synchronicities. Keep me posted, pile number 3. Subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What is up, my pile number 4? Here is your reading for what it is that you guys are currently calling in. I have your oracles flipped over. And just because I didn't get like the most coherent look into just from the oracles, I did take a look at your tarot cards too. So I essentially have everything flipped over. So what you guys are calling in, you guys are currently on a timeline that is, I feel like you guys are here to be, some of you guys are tarot readers, most certainly. You guys are like very psychically activated individuals. I feel like if at the very least you guys are teachers in some sense, or people look at you as a teacher, you could be a fitness instructor, yoga instructor, you could be someone that you're teaching in some sort of way where, usually tarot readers too, and astrologers, for example, they're teachers, right? They're kind of sharing their inner wisdom, sharing what they see in their mind's eye, and kind of helping other people make sense of the world and kind of help other people to achieve their dreams, right? When pigs can fly. This is my when pigs can fly card. So how to help people see beyond their current situations in order to see beyond the current situation and whatever their reality is suggesting to them, and to kind of take back their power and to kind of create essentially the life that they actually want. And so it doesn't remain just in dream state, to actually ground that onto the earth plane. But I am seeing that you guys are calling in community. You guys are calling in more people that need your light and that really resonate with your message. They really resonate with whatever you're putting out there. I'm hearing that like the scales have finally tipped for you guys. So this might have been a long time coming for you guys in terms of feeling like you were good enough, or feeling like you were worthy enough, or like, not comparing yourself so much to other people that you like held back your truth. There's a lot here with Justice and the Ace of Swords that talks about your levels of perception being spot on, or just the way that your unique soul stream and your unique perception of the infinite from this finite perspective. We're all just offering our perspectives of the infinite from like a finite level. So however you do that is done so to such a pristine way. And I'm hearing that you are calling in a lot of people very soon. You are calling in a lot of people that want to be part of your community, and that you feel like on a soul level are your people, right? You feel like on a soul level are beings that you have done this game of life before with, people that you feel like a resonance with in terms of the soul level. So not just mere acquaintances, but like deep soul recognition when these people are reaching out. So you're most certainly building something very strong, building a strong foundation. And I'm hearing too that you guys are beings of like very deep integrity, and you're calling in more of just yourself. I'm getting this sense of like, I just feel very empowered. I feel very stoic. And then I'm also feeling a sense of like, you don't feel like a teacher. And I feel like that's what makes you such a great teacher. Like you really feel like you're just on this journey with the people around you. You're just on this journey. You're just doing this thing. Are all just walking each other home, like Ram Dass would say. But essentially, whatever you do, however you help people reframe their lens of perception, however you help people see the bigger picture of things, it really holistically sets people free. And I feel like you do so in a way that's like on a soul level. It's not just mental, right? I feel like you're the type of person that someone like calls you and is like feeling really like bound to something in their external reality, because you're open, you're receptive, you're tuned into spirit. You're able to meet their situation from the level of the soul versus the level of the personality. When you meet things at the level of the soul, that's what really helps set people free. It's not trying to fix things on the level of the personality, But it's like once you get the soul stuff right, then you know what to do on the 3D level. And so I feel like that's what you holistically help people do. You holistically help people like release people from their own karmic bondage, right? And to see, you know, the world of duality for what it is, while at the same time not getting lost in it. So whatever it is that you guys are doing, like keep going, right? You're on a beautiful timeline. I feel like this is like dreams coming true. When the pigs can fly, right? You're actually grounding into the world of form, what it is that I feel like you guys have always wanted, what it is that you guys have probably been visualizing. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys like in visualization, when you're like, spirit, just show me, right? There are times where I'd be like, spirit, just show me what it is. Because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is best for me. Like clearly up to early 20s, that would really show you guys I did not know what the fuck was best for me. Right? And so, but oftentimes when I would ask spirit that, I would just see like, I'd close my eyes and I would see people dancing around campfires. I would see laughter. I would see tears of like joy and tears of just sharing the human experience together and just like true heartfelt community, right? True heartfelt connections. And so I don't know if I said that. Did I say that in this pile? It might have been the other pile. I don't know if that was this pile, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, I feel like you guys are on a timeline where you're feeling really solid in who you are, and you're feeling very solid in your gifts, what you have to offer. You feel very, very solid in your connection to spirit. Whatever it is that you're offering to the world, you're just getting even better. Like this is a consistent glow up, a consistent shift. Your heart is open. The heart chakra is open. You're grounding these higher codes onto the planet. Like this reminds me of the crown chakra, third eye chakra, higher chakras, and your heart is the bridge. And only if your heart is open, so no pride, right? Only with an open heart do we actually start to ground this onto planet Earth. So not surprised too that you would be drawing in other people because you have such a compassionate heart, my pal number 4. You guys really want the best for everyone with this like Libra energy that's coming in. You really want the best for everyone. You're really about fairness and equanimity and just who you are. Like you can't help but teach people. Like what I'm seeing here, like the strike of lightning. I don't know if I finished that story because sometimes I can go on tangents, but I feel like you're the type of person that someone comes to you with a problem and you just say like 1 or 2 sentences and they're like, oh my God, I feel so free. And it seems so obvious. And you're just like so pointed. You just are so tuned in with spirit, the spiritual realms, that like the advice you give is just like, it's short and sweet, but it's exactly like, it's so infused. It's so potent. And it comes through you. It doesn't come from you. It comes through you because your crown is open. Your third eye is open. And you're really feeling what people are actually saying. You're really feeling the level of freedom that they want. Which ultimately, I feel like it's never about like fixing the thing on, it's very rarely is it about fixing the thing on the level of form. Because once we're right within ourselves, once we have reached peace, then we know what to do. And so I feel like you know how to bring people to that state of internal peace so they know what to do, right? You're empowering other people with whatever you're doing. You're creating a safe space for people to feel truly empowered and building a community of like-minded people where people can feel safe to show up with their light and shadow aspects, to be like, what is this here to teach me? Where is this here to show me where I'm still buying into outdated paradigms, outdated belief systems that may or may not be fully in alignment with my true nature and what I'm here to do and give to other people. So beautiful timeline. I knew I didn't have to specify with this channel. I'm like, ooh, because what if people be calling in some like really terrible things? You know, I never know. But then spirit was like, but just remember the type of people that you work with, Marissa. It's beings that are really perceptive, people that are really just like about, you know, about what it is that they're about, you know, walking the talk and everything. And so spirit was like, it'll be good. You're in for a treat, just like the rest of these people. So thank you so much for being a part of this channel. Thank you for entrusting me to read for you guys. If this video resonated, please give it a like, comment any synchronicities down below. And yeah, subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What's up, pal number 5? I flipped your guys' cards over and I just hit record. I'm like, say no more, spirit. I just flipped over your oracles. We're going to get into the tarot together, but we have serendipity here and shedding old skin with the snake card. So this is pretty clear. You guys are calling in experiences and you're on a timeline where you're going to feel like real brand new. You're going to feel like there was a certain group where it was very clear that they were calling in the period of the cocooning of the caterpillar, and I feel like you guys are calling in the period of like coming outside of the cocoon, right? And like feeling rebirth and feeling like everything is working in your favor. The fates are on your side, you know, 4-leaf clover, like lucky, feeling very lucky, very synchronistic things happening. People, you know, people reaching out, the right people at the right time, the right conversations, right everything. You guys are really feeling rebirth. You're really feeling like more in your power, more in alignment with what it is that you came here to contribute to the planet at this time. You're just ultimately feeling much more confident and yeah, just like very surrendered is what I'm feeling, but in a powerful way, like surrendered to the journey of life and where it's here to take you. And just like surrender in terms of like, you kind of let life show you what you need to do when you need to do it versus thinking that you know what's best for you, pile number 5. So I'm seeing that you just kind of surrender to these rebirth experiences when they come, because I feel like you're pretty locked in with the fact that this is part of the journey, right? You can't have that. You can't have the butterfly if you don't go through that darkness, right? It's part of the process. It's built in. So we're going to get deeper in with the tarot. So a lot of serendipity, feeling very empowered in yourself, feeling real brand new. Physical glow up could be part of it. So changing your appearance in some sort of way could be part of just like wanting to embody more of or have like this external show of this internal change that you're feeling. So what else do we have here? We have 8 of Swords in reverse. So I feel like, yeah, you're undoing yourself from a lot of like feeling bound. You're undoing yourself from like past belief systems. Like I feel like this is a shift in a paradigm, you guys, of like you have finally overcome something or overcome, like maybe you even met like a root core wound recently. And that's being undone. Like, or like these other threads that are associated with this deep core wound are kind of like undoing themselves organically. So this could be, again, in that cocoon phase or in the dark nights of the soul, we can have certain epiphanies where it's like, oh my God, like like for example, I made a video on my on my main channel about undoing the unworthiness cord is what I called it. And I had this epiphany. I was working with Victor Odo and it was this online retreat. And it was during a breathwork session, and I had a huge epiphany into my entire life about this root core wound of unworthiness and how it pushed me, like it fueled me into really great paradigms. And then also how it kept me running away from certain realities, but how at the end of it, it was all being driven by my need to prove myself and prove that I'm worthy versus being like, whoa, I have nothing to fucking prove to anyone, right? And so those types of, that's what I'm getting. Like, I'm getting this type of rebirth and this type of, oh my God, I feel so free because I see it for what it is. And so once you identify that root core wound, it's like all of these other things just kind of fall away on their own. And these old threads, these old cords kind of take care of themselves because you're like, oh, I know what's really going on here. I know what this is saying. I know what this, I'm not going to play this game anymore because I'm beyond it. You're like seeing beyond it. So this is powerful. This is really beautiful. So what else do we have here? Justice. Justice coming up again. A lot of similar cards coming up throughout these readings, but just in different decks. So yeah, rebalancing of the scales. I always see when I see justice, I read it as karmic justice, right? So it's very rarely do I see it as like things that are happening externally or like settling lawsuits or whatever, where if there's other cards that support that, then obviously that's how I read it. But this is an internal shift for you guys. This is like karmic scales balancing in terms of you guys feeling set free from something that once kept you bound, right? You guys feeling like an internal state of balance. Libra is all about fairness, equality, freedom. And so I feel like that's what you guys are really feeling here. You're calling in this new sense of serendipity within yourself, this new sense of freedom, this new sense of like boundlessness that only comes from doing that deep type of work, right? That only really truly comes from going into the darkness, going into that cocoon. So what else do we have coming through? The Tower. So yeah, this might, again, I just saw 444 on the clock. So this might come in the form of, it might feel like it all happened so quickly, like those epiphany moments. When I had that epiphany, it was like my whole entire life made sense. So I feel like that's honestly probably why I was guided to go into that story, because that's probably how it's going to feel for you. It's like, it's going to come in really fast and it's going to feel like in a good way. I feel like I deeply feel this tower is a good thing, like a moment of truth, a moment of where like your entire world is shooken up. Like the foundation is like shooken up in a good way because you see where your house was built on sand, because it was built on this false sense of like needing to prove yourself or whatever it is for you. However, whatever this old skin, this old paradigm that you're stepping out of represents for you. But I do feel like it's like kind of a long time coming in terms of undoing this karmic knot for you guys. So I feel like it's going to come in fast. It's going to happen fast. It's going to happen like a moment of clarity, a moment of truth with these two things coming up together. It's going to be like, oh my God, how did I not fucking see this, right? And with that is going to come along. You're just going to, I just feel so free. I'm so excited for you guys. This feels so good. This is what I'm about. Yeah. Long time coming with the Knight of Pentacles. And I feel like with him too, like this is someone, the Knight of Pentacles in this deck really does talk about, it talks about someone who's very honest and very integral and just very like, pure. And so I get that from you guys. It's like, I feel like maybe you guys might have even wondered like why you had to go through certain things, or like why you couldn't get over certain things, when you're like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, I've made some mistakes when I was confused, but I think I'm a good fucking person. Like, why can't I get over this thing? And so there's like this sense of purity behind you guys, to where I feel like you're going to see it not from that lens of like, this is kind of shitty. Like, I don't know why I have to go through this, like good guys finish last type of thing. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I see, this was meant to set me free. All of the suffering I went through was meant to purify me. It was meant to help me, tweak my perception in this area. It led me to this avenue, to this teacher, to ask this type of question in this type of way at this specific time. And, you're like, serendipity is just kind of connecting all the dots, right? And so I feel like a lot of dots are going to be connected for you, and you're shedding a huge skin. A lot of these old fears and insecurities are just going to feel like overnight, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Like I'm getting just like real brand new vibes from you guys, right? And just like really owning yourself, the way that you carry yourself, and glowing up. Like you're calling in a huge glow up, like a holistic glow up, like energetic glow up, physical glow up. And people can feel that. People are going to feel that. Not that we do it or we want it so other people can feel it, but just so you know, people are probably going to say something. People are probably going to come at you differently, right? But this is beautiful. So yeah, great things in store for you guys. Blessings on your journey. I'm so excited for you guys. Keep me posted on what this looks like, if it resonates, how this appears for you guys. Give this video a thumbs up, comment any synchronicities down below, subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon.